please call the Georgia Tech studio hotline at 336-831-0821.
It's Wednesday night in Atlanta, and that means it's time to talk Yellow Jacket football. Welcome to GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. GT60 is brought to you by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Drive sober or get pulled over. By Coca-Cola. No matter what your favorite game day food, it'll pair perfectly with a Coke. Together, tastes better. And by Georgia Power, the official energy sponsor of your Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Visit us at georgiapower.com/community. Power on, Georgia. Now, let's join your host, the voice of the Yellow Jackets, Andy Demetra.
And another good Wednesday to you. Welcome into GT60 and another ACC opportunity for your Yellow Jackets this Saturday. For the first time since 2008, they head up to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. We'll bring you all the coverage beginning at 4 o'clock on Saturday. But before that, a lot to get to as we talk your Yellow Jackets on GT60. I'm Andy Demetra, and without further ado, let's welcome in the head coach of your Yellow Jackets, Coach Collins.
What's up, Andy?
How are you?
Good to see you, bud. Doing great.
And second half hour, we'll be joined by your esteemed tight ends coach, Chris Wiesehans. Good to have Coach Wies back on the program.
Well,
the well-traveled Chris Wiesehans.
He is. He's the best.
He's got a lot of lines on that resume, but he's done his job well for a long time, including here at Georgia Tech. Let's get into it, Coach. You've said time and again since you've come here how proud you've been of your team's resilience. Can you give us a sense of the resolve and the leadership and the attitude you've seen from your guys as they've attacked practice this week getting ready for BC?
Yeah, they've done a good job. Just, every single day is a learning process, and just as we build the program, the leadership components of it, setting the attitude and the standard and demeanor every single day. And they've done that. And, just excited to get to go back out on the field after playing the number one team in the country. Good litmus test to see where one program is 12 years into the development. And as we continue to build this thing, there's a lot of bright spots, and continue to build on those.
Coaches love when they don't have to coach effort. I imagine it's the same, that you don't have to coach up your guys' resilience from week to week.
Yeah, they do a good job. So they know we're building something special here. Even the older guys really want to be a part of laying the foundation. And we've got a ton of young guys, obviously, that are playing, and some are playing at a really, really high level. And, I said in the press conference that, development, your ascendance to where you're going to be is never in just a linear plane. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be bumps and bruises. But the progress that we're continuing to make, it has me very, very excited about where we are and where we're going.
One area where your team has shown progress this year, and it materialized again on Saturday, forcing turnovers. The year before you arrived at Tech, you led a defense that ranked third in the nation in takeaways.
Yep.
Last year you told me not quite up to your typical standards, but here you are, 11 turnovers forced. That's tied for fourth in the nation. Why do you think this team is starting to show more of a knack for forcing turnovers?
Yeah, it's just that's part of the DNA in our culture. That's part of the DNA in how we play defensive football in our program. We've been tops in the country in forcing turnovers everywhere I've been as a defensive coordinator and now as a head coach. So that's part of what we do and who we are. And as we just continue to build upon things, it's nice to see certain parts of who we are starting to take hold, and creating turnovers, creating chaos, tackles for lost sacks is who we are as a defense, and we just got to continue to build.
When it's such a part of your team's culture and something you drill into them, not just on game day but Monday through Friday, when you do get a turnover, we saw Trey Swilling with the fumble recovery on the Travis Etienne cough up, and then we saw Zamari Walton with the interception, his second of the season. It seems those turnovers energize your sideline more than a typical turnover would for some other program. That's just my observation.
I mean, they do a nice job with it. We make a big deal about it. 365 days a year. You cannot walk down our defensive coach's hallway without passing two footballs that you've got to knock. It's on a steel arm that's flexible or whatever, spring or whatever, and they've got to hit those things as they go by. So just a constant reminder every single day to try to rake at the ball and get that thing out. So the thing that we have started doing better is in the past, whenever we would create a turnover, because they had been few and far between, we would have 14, 18, 22 people out on the field celebrating. We've become better at letting the ball come to the sideline and celebrating on the sideline. So hopefully we'll be doing that a lot in Chestnut Hill on Saturday. They've got a dynamic offense, an explosive passing game, big physical offensive line, big physical running backs. I think the quarterback is one of the tops in the country statistically, and just, live arm talent and where he knows how to make plays and go with the football. So we've got a big challenge ahead of us.
Yeah, we'll dive into the details of Boston College. Phil Jerkovic, the quarterback you referenced, more towards the bottom of the hour. Jalen Camp with a touchdown now in back-to-back games. How has he separated himself as a wide receiver in this his redshirt senior year?
Yeah, he's just gotten better every single day. Now that we're throwing the ball around and running a pro-style spread offense, he's learning true pass concepts. That development continues to grow for all of our offensive players, offensive line to the skill positions. And you just see him being more comfortable in every phase of his development. Still a tremendous run blocker. He's a big physical presence out on the perimeter. And I still say he's one of the best 50-50 ball receivers in America. And really good to see him have some success. On the stat sheet, we know what kind of impact he makes every day for us. And most notably, too, he's our starting right guard on punt team. And that is the most important team in this organization. And Jalen Camp every single day is right there on the front line of punt, letting Presley Harvin do his work and boom the ball down the field with great protection. And then Jalen covers down the field. And, when you're going to play at the next level at any skill position, if you have dreams, hopes, and aspirations of playing in the NFL, you better contribute on special teams. Jalen Camp has taken that message to heart and has done a really nice job for us.
And Jalen will be our pregame guest on Saturday for the Boston College game. Look forward to bringing you the coverage in Chestnut Hill. Pregame 2 o'clock, Tomies Leather at 4. A couple of midseason national accolades earned by your guys earlier this afternoon. We'll tell you about them in just a moment. Hey, Yellow Jacket fans, McCamus Pavilion is a voting poll site for this upcoming election. For early voting, it started today. It continues tomorrow. And for the general election on November 3rd, make sure you're registered so you can buzz to the ballot. Much more GT60 with head coach Jeff Collins after this on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Today tastes like game day at home, like assigned couch seating. Tastes like coffee table dining and an ice-cold Coke to cool down the heat. It tastes like the game you've waited for all week with friends you've known your whole life. Today tastes like watching football is supposed to, and it never tasted this good. Coca-Cola, together tastes better.
It's not just our color, it's our commitment. It defines us, drives us. It's our standard and our pursuit. When you come to the flats, you need to remember something. Our gold is unbreakable, forever gold-blooded. We are Georgia Tech football.
GT60 will be right back after these local messages on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Football season is here and the fall months are approaching, but it's still warm, which means pests like ants, roaches, and mosquitoes are still out in force. Luckily, you can trust the pros at Arrow Exterminators to keep your home, business, and tailgate pest-free. Atlanta-based Arrow Exterminators is trusted to keep a pest-free zone at the Yellow Jackets home, so rest assured that with Arrow's pest and termite control, you're getting the best from the best. Schedule a free home evaluation today. Call 888-GO-ARROW or visit arrowexterminators.com.
Follow the Yellow Jackets with Everyday Champions, the official magazine of Georgia Tech Sports. Each issue contains exclusive stories and photos, plus the latest news from inside Tech athletics. It's all that's positive about the Jackets. Subscribe now for only $9.95 per year. Call 1-888-877-4373, extension 3799 to sign up for Everyday Champions. That's 1-888-877-4373, extension 3799.
live with GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, talking all things Yellow Jacket athletics. To be a part of today's show, send your question on Twitter using hashtag GT60. Now let's rejoin the voice of the Jackets, Andy Demetra.
Football season is here. That means it's time to load up on the best snacks and some delicious ice-cold Coke for all your game day guests. Nothing tastes like everyone you love and everything you like coming together. Coca-Cola together tastes better. It's Georgia Tech versus Boston College in Chestnut Hill this weekend. Georgia Tech 3-0 all-time in Chestnut Hill. Tommy's Leather is set for 4 o'clock, as I'm sure you're aware, Coach. Boston College's starting left guard is named Christian Mahogany, which, if I'm not mistaken, is also the smell of Ron Burgundy's apartment. Can you confirm?
I can't confirm that, yes.
Had to drop an Anchorman reference in there for you.
Always.
You've got a pretty talented freshman in Jahmyr Gibbs, who earlier today was named to the FWAA Freshman All-America watch list. Third on the team in receptions, led your guys in rushing, led your team in pass receptions on Saturday. He's a guy who makes defenders miss, but he's not necessarily a dancer. It's just really interesting to watch him and what makes him such a successful running back.
Yeah, he's a great player and a great young man, and we're lucky that we have him in our program. And just he has elite speed, he has elite vision, a feel for the game, catches the ball out of the backfield. He made a highlight film type catch at Tuesday's practice, one-handed, over the shoulder. I mean, there's the comments just around the team. One of the guys said he never ceases to amaze me every single day, and I feel the same way. And the best thing about him, he's extremely humble. He is an extremely hard worker, and he is a tough guy. And those things are with such an abundance of talent that he has. But to have those other 3 components, are things that you really want to build your culture around and your program around. And we've got a bunch of young guys that are playing for us that are made that way and fit great into our culture and help build this thing the right way.
What makes a good pass-catching running back? It's not only about having sure hands.
Yeah, and it's confidence, and it's just a feel and spatial awareness and a bunch of other big words that we could use. But, he's a big-time player and a great kid.
Spatial awareness, you dropped empirical data on our
we
Walk and Talk
love
for the
that
404 Takeover TV show. You're on it today. I like it. Also, Presley Harvin III was named to the Ray Guy Award Raised 4 list, which recognizes the top 4 punters in college football each week. It's the 4th time in 5 weeks that he's made the Ray Guy Award Raised 4. His contributions and his consistency cannot be overlooked.
Yeah, he has the ability to flip the field for us every single game. And, we do a lot of things. We talk about getting our guys ready to play in the NFL. A lot of teams across the country just line up in a shield punt. We don't do that. We run a pro-style protection scheme, and I think that helps him in his development. We do directional kicks. So those kind of things are things he's going to have to do at the next level, because the NFL game and the rules about punt protections and things, apply, and we use those as well, and it's helped his game a lot, and he's got a tremendous leg and tremendous work ethic and plays within the framework of the scheme.
So Jahmyr and Presley both honored this afternoon if you missed the news. Amarian Brown was one of our guests at the media availability after practice today, and he fielded some questions about having what for him might seem a modest catch count so far. Handled a lot of those questions maturely.
Sure.
But just speak to the presence and the threat that Amarian's speed presents and how that opens the field up for his other wide receivers and allows a guy like Jeff Sims to have success. You don't always need to make a catch on a play in order to make an impact on that play.
Well, I think one of the biggest pieces of it is just everybody, it jumps off the film how fast Amarian is. You can see it. You can feel it live and in person. And I think we're one of the top rushing offenses in the country. And that's no small component of the threat that he poses. There's very rarely that you can just single him up You've got to have awareness, and you've got to put doubles on him a lot, which lightens the box to help our run game. So just the mere threat of AB taking the top off the coverage helps the run game. It also helps our intermediate pass game as well, because so much focus is on him as a deep threat. It opens up some other things for us.
Jalen was telling me if it weren't for Amarian, he wouldn't have had that 59-yard touchdown catch last weekend, because you motioned Amarian across. It occupied the safety.
Yep.
It opened up the middle of the field, and it left Jalen one-on-one with his cornerback. So It's not lost on his other wide receivers just what he means, even if it's, the play does not end with him being the target of the pass.
Right.
Dave Padno, let's talk about your offensive coordinator and the job that he has done since last season, beginning of last season, transforming this offense, where it is now, and how he has not only built confidence in his players operating it, but added complexity to it as you've gone along.
Yeah, and I've known Dave for, I think it's going on 24 years now. Me and him are getting old. But just a dynamic play caller, very open-minded to different things. We've got a lot of outstanding coaches on our offensive staff that bring ideas, and then he he's kind of like a chef, and he mixes them up and puts the thing together based on the talent that we have, the different things that we think we can do with our personnel, accompanied with our scheme, and just to build on certain things. And it just has been really good to watch him grow in the last 4 years that we've been together in particular, and how he takes the players that we have, puts them together, makes a really good offense. We're still in the early stages of, an historic transformation in all of college football, going from a triple option attack to now being a high-powered spread, NFL-style offense, and just really proud of the job that he's done, and then developing a true freshman quarterback that's playing at such a high level. Add to that component, it's pretty cool as well.
You first linked up with him at Fordham, right?
We did,
yeah. GA, and he was already on the staff as an offensive assistant.
Yep, and I thought he was the old man in the room and an accomplished coach, and little did I know he was 3 years older than me. So. But, we've had a great relationship. His wife, Christine, Jennifer and I have known them since we were newlyweds, and up in New York City, up in the Bronx. And it's been a great relationship, and really proud that they're here with us.
And literally 25 years after you guys first linked up at Fordham, you wanted to find an offensive coordinator for your first head coaching job, and who do you tap? Coach Padno. So clearly you had sustained that relationship after that 1 year together.
Absolutely, and I had watched how he had grown as a coach and all the high-powered, record-setting offenses that he had put together every single place that he had been. And there was 1 year he went through, I think, 6 quarterbacks and still set school records and won 10 games, with that kind of attrition. And that just speaks to the creativity and the, what kind of coach that he is to be able to do those type of things. And I'm glad he's here with us.
He's a colorful guy as well.
He
can spin a yarn.
He can. He's a sharp dresser as well. So
that might be the highest praise of all,
no doubt.
In your doting of Dave Padno.
Yep.
We appreciate always catching up with Dave Padno each and every week, your offensive coordinator for the Jackets. We'll take another timeout. Still more to come, and still on the way. We've got tight ends coach Chris Wiesahan on this Wednesday night. It's GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Today's matchup, Skin Energy partners up with Georgia Tech football to take on your old natural gas provider. Just like how the Yellow Jackets swarm the field, Georgia residents will be eager to stiff-arm high prices and get real savings on natural gas. Visit skinenergy.com to take it to the house, your house. Passing up on these rates would be a complete debacle. So make a winning call and dial 877-GO-SCANA or visit skinenergy.com for great service and great rates this fall. Touchdown!
Today tastes like game day at home. Like assigned couch seating. Tastes like coffee table dining. And an ice-cold Coke to cool down the heat. It tastes like the game you've waited for all week with friends you've known your whole life. Today tastes like watching football is supposed to. And it never tasted this good. Coca-Cola. Together tastes better.
Back with more after this timeout. You're listening to GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Atlanta, Home of clout, home of culture, home of Georgia Tech. But it's not enough to represent a city. You have to reflect it. And our story is Atlanta's story. A place that influences and innovates. A place that doesn't wait for change, it creates it. A place of relentless drive and undeniable swagger. With a storied past and unstoppable future. That's Atlanta. That's Georgia Tech. So let others wish they were here or pretend they're from here. We are here. And when you take this celebrated program in this world-class city, you get an electricity unlike anything in college football. Welcome to Atlanta, and what's the good word? This is Georgia Tech football.
Talking Georgia Tech athletics in this week's edition of GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. To be a part of today's show, send your question on Twitter using hashtag GT60. Now let's rejoin the voice of the Jackets, Andy Demetra.
Yellow Jacket fans, be sure to visit GeorgiaPower.com/community to learn new ways to stay connected. Georgia Power, the official energy sponsor of Georgia Tech Athletics. Power on Georgia. Always appreciate hearing from you on Twitter, including Ron, who says, program going in the right direction. Great school leadership and student athletes, so thank you for that, Ron. Let's talk about Boston College, the opponent this weekend. 3-0. The Jackets are all-time in Chestnut Hill. Last time they went up there was 2008. You'd mentioned Phil Jurkovec, sophomore quarterback, transfer from Notre Dame. 4 games of 300-plus yards passing, most in the season by a BC QB since Matt Ryan.
Right.
What stands out when you flick on the film of him?
Yeah, he's just a playmaker. He knows where to go with the ball, and then he can create plays with his feet. And, he seems like he's a tough kid, competitive guy, just the way he moves around, and he continues to keep plays alive. So we've got to be very sound in our, scramble rules and plaster coverage and all those things, because he makes some plays when the plays are there. He knows how to get the ball to the proper receivers, go through his progressions. Then when plays break down, he's able to improvise, and he's got a little savvy to him to make some dynamic, explosive plays.
Now, you piqued my curiosity. What's plaster coverage?
Plaster coverage, so when the quarterback starts scrambling, there's guys running around, and they have scramble rules with DBs. You've got a plaster on your nearest guy, or if you're in a zone coverage, you just play with eyes. But then when they start scrambling, you've got to go plaster on a receiver that's in your zone and cover him.
Okay. Is that a common football term, or is that kind of a Jeff Collins special?
That's pretty common.
Okay, I don't know. Can you tell? I was never told to do plaster coverage.
I can tell that now. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, next time say the quiet. Don't say the quiet part out loud. Hunter Long, most receptions by a tight end in the nation for BC. How do they utilize and involve him in their passing game?
Yeah, they line him up all over the place, and he's a tremendous route runner, tremendous feel for the game. They're very multiple with how they use him. He's a good run blocker as well, and he can go and make dynamic plays in space, but also make some physical, lean into some guys and then break away and make some big-time plays. So he's a really, really good tight end.
Boston College has a new head coach, and Jeff Hafley came over from Ohio State, where he was their co-defensive coordinator. So he's got a defensive pedigree like yourself. How would you characterize Boston College's defense and the way they attack? Yeah,
they're very sound. They're great fundamentals. Play with tremendous effort, tremendous pad level, and very fundamentally sound. And they've got some really good, strong players that seem like they really understand the scheme, and they fly to the ball.
They have linebackers who are number 1 and number 2 in the nation right now in tackles. Max Richardson's 1, Isaiah McDuffie is 2. When you see how those guys move, what makes them so formidable as a tandem? Yeah,
they're good size, and they're just very instinctive. They play to their strengths. They're very physical, and when those guys hit you, I'm sure it's there's some power behind it.
We were talking about Dave Patnode and his job in transforming this offense and the way he's gotten it to continue to evolve and progress. And before we cut you loose, Coach, I want to get one last one on Twitter from Michael, who wanted to know what percentage of the offensive playbook can still be implemented at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's ever evolving. You know, I think one of the things that we got to do this year, even though we only had 6 spring practices out of 15, so we lost 9, we were able to get those OTAs before preseason camp started, and just the repetitive rhythm of our scheme and just doing it over and over and over was very beneficial. So then you can add layers to it and come up with some unique twist and put a little flavor to it. And I think Dave and the rest of the offensive staff have done a really nice job taking the base of our scheme and then add some flavor. And then we've got a bunch of young guys that are picking it up, highly intelligent, want to study the game plan, wanting to get better. And when you have that kind of mix, it's pretty cool.
Very nice. We'd also mentioned Presley Harvin. He's second in the nation in net punting, but a punter's average when it comes to net punting, it sometimes is only as good as the quality of your gunners. And you have 2 really good ones in Jalen Askew and Josh Blancato. Jalen we've talked about before. Josh, maybe not so much. You're a registered junior, but I was catching up with Ryan Horton, your director of applied sports science, for the 404 Takeover TV show this week. He told me that Josh Blancato against Louisville set a program record for the most yards run in a game at a speed of 20-plus miles per hour, 273 yards.
Pretty impressive.
It is something that maybe you see from a distance or you see out of the corner of your eye as a fan, but when you break it down like that, Josh Blancato is hustling in a big way for you on special teams and making an impact in what might be an unheralded way.
Well, I don't know if it's unheralded. It's a huge honor in our program. Nathan Cottrell last year was that role for us. And I don't think in his wildest dreams before last season ever really thought he would have the chance to play in the NFL. But after a year in our system, a year in our development, playing gunner for us on kickoff, playing gunner for us on punt, now he is in the NFL solely because of his contributions on special teams. He had 1 carry for -1 yards last year and made an NFL roster. That's pretty cool. And that's the thing that Josh Blancato, that's the thing that Jalen Askew, Dante Smith, Tobias Oliver, those are 2 other guys that play that role for us. And, those kind of things, those kind of contributions are put in hero status around our program, and just very proud of them. And put it in a little bit more context, when we use our catapult system, there's a sprint distance metric that we use. Well, just a general sprint distance metric is the number of yards you run over 14 miles an hour. Last year, as we were developing and getting guys to understand the effort-based system that we run, if you got 200 yards or 300 yards over 14 miles an hour, that was a big deal at this time last year. Now, we're talking guys doing that same amount of distance traveled over 20 miles an hour. We're having guys that are doing the 14 miles an hour, which is a good, in a game, good number, hitting that 500 and 600 yards during a game. So all of those kind of things, a culture built on effort, those are the times that it pays off. And you saw it in the Louisville game, Friday night, ACC opponent, that we go out there and just play ridiculously hard, and really good things happen for us in every phase of the game, and just continue to build on things as we build this program the right way.
Unheralded maybe to the fans because they're watching the arc of the punt. Maybe their eyes aren't trained on those gunners who are flying down the field, but you know better, and certainly Josh and Jalen's teammates know better just how hard he's working and what quality play he's brought to you on special teams.
Absolutely.
So Nathan Cottrell turned his niche as a special teams ace into a spot on the practice squad of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and in fact he was active for game 1. And you got another Jacksonville Jaguar, Tyler Davis, who is under the tutelage of our next guest, Chris Wiesehan. He is going to be our guest on the other side of GT60. You do like those segues, don't you?
Can we just call him Coach Wheezy from now on?
Coach Wheezy?
This is Wiesehan, and a soft S within the name. It might be proper, but we call him Coach Wheezy or just Wheezy around this program. He is the best.
I believe also it's Yog and the J is silent. So I will also make note of that. Coach, we appreciate the time. We'll see you in Chestnut Hill.
Yes, sir.
All right, he's head coach Jeff Collins. And Coach Wheezy, already psyching me out. He's our next guest on GT60. Stay with us on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
even before the victory celebration is over. Great teams are back at it the next day, working to get even better. The team at Ford understands how hard work and dedication pay off. Over the last 30 years, Ford Explorer has been America's best-selling SUV. In fact, all Ford SUVs, like Explorer, Escape, and Edge, are built for victory. Score a great offer today at your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Based on total cumulative OEM reported U.S. sales for all SUVs from calendar year 1990 through calendar year 2019.
Today tastes like game day at home. Like assigned couch seating. Tastes like coffee table dining. And an ice-cold Coke to cool down the heat. It tastes like the game you've waited for all week with friends you've known your whole life. Today tastes like watching football is supposed to. And it never tasted this good. Coca-Cola. Together tastes better.
GT60 will be right back after these local messages on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. The Ramblin' Wreck.
Down over the shoulder, makes the catch.
Are ready to roll.
Sims lobs it left side of the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Jackets.
This is Yellow Jacket football.
Unbelievable drama and unbelievable guts.
Saturday, Georgia Tech takes on Boston College. Kickoff at 4 with pregame coverage starting at 2. Right here on your home for the Yellow Jackets.
Football season is here and the fall months are approaching, but it's still warm, which means pests like ants, roaches, and mosquitoes are still out in force. Luckily, you can trust the pros at Arrow Exterminators to keep your home, business, and tailgate pest-free. Atlanta-based Arrow Exterminators is trusted to keep a pest-free zone at the Yellow Jackets home, so rest assured that with Arrow's pest and termite control, you're getting the best from the best. Schedule a free home evaluation today. Call 888-GO-ARROW or visit arrowexterminators.com.
With GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Talking all things Yellow Jacket athletics. To be a part of today's show, send your question on Twitter using hashtag GT60. Now let's rejoin the voice of the Jackets, Andy Demetra.
FOCO is now the official on-field mask provider for your Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. To get your official on-field mask today, visit FOCO.com. That's FOCO.com as we welcome you back to GT60 this Wednesday night. Georgia Tech versus Boston College. Tommy's Leather at Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, set for 4 o'clock. I'm sensitive because I've had my name called Demetra pretty much every year that I've been broadcasting. So, I mea culpa here, Coach Weezy, on the mispronunciation. Coach Weezahan, 2 E's and a Z, as you say it, joins us now on GT60. Georgia Tech's tight ends coach. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Andy?
Do any of the players call you Coach Weezahan, or are you just now and forevermore known as Coach Weezy?
Coach Weez.
Coach Weez. Okay,
yeah.
So we dropped the Y.
Some guys call me Coach Weezy. I mean, it's not a big deal. Like Dion, those guys.
You answered to both.
I answered to both.
Well, we appreciate you.
My wife never calls me that. Unfortunately, she calls me a lot of other things, but she never calls me Weezy. But
that's okay. Is she Mrs. Weez?
Yes, she is Mrs. Weez.
Okay.
Yep.
She answers that as well.
She answers to that always. Yep.
All right. Well, now that we've cleared that up, let's talk tight ends, and let's begin with one of your pupils last year, who I'm sure you are so proud of, in Tyler Davis, 6th-round pick, first-time Georgia Tech, has had a draft pick at tight end since 1992. To know that Tyler came here on faith, but wanted to be part of this culture from the ground up, didn't decide to become a grad transfer to chase stats, but wanted to set himself on a path to get to the NFL and putting his trust in your tutelage, your development. You've coached a lot of guys who have made it to the NFL, but I have a feeling that Tyler is going to be on that short list of guys that you're most proud of for the choice that he made and what he dedicated himself to make it happen.
Well, I think that's spot on in a lot of areas. I think that Tyler had a vision of what he wanted to do, and we collaborated together when he got here. Obviously, he was underweight. Some of the measurables were not where they needed to be, and the story goes on and on about how we collected the data. Like, hey, here are the guys I've coached in the NFL. at that position. Obviously, I've coached multiple positions, but at that position, here were the measurables. Now look at the last 8 years of data of the draft picks, and here's where we have to get you to. And through our Lou Corral and our strength coaches, and then all the things we did in the offseason, and then him acclimating. The thing about Tyler is he is so astute, and he's a willing learner, and then he's a willing teacher. And so his legacy is not that he went to the NFL, but how he left the tight end room and the growth and experience as he grew and grew more experience, but he also was a great teammate and then became a great leader. And right now as we speak, the tight ends are downstairs, and they're grooming a freshman, Billy Ward, and it's Dylan and Dylan taking him through the tape, taking him through an extra meeting, because the more they can teach and talk and do it, they can perform on the field. And the more they integrate together collectively, when we're in 12 and 13 personnel, they can communicate quickly and get on the same page. So it's been invaluable, his growth, and we're so proud of him. But if you look at why he's on that roster, okay, he made it through special teams. At the end of the day, he made it through special teams, which is a core of our values here, and how to become ATL. And now he's playing actively in reps. I think my last text with him was the text was J.J. Watts is a beast. He played against J.J., so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was playing him on Madden last year. Now he's playing him for real.
Exactly.
Awesome. Dylan Devaney and Dylan Leonard, he kind of took those young guys under his wing last year as not just a teammate but a teacher. What do you hope your Dylans gain the most from practicing alongside Tyler Davis and learning from him last year?
Well, I think it's your approach and your daily process. And it's not the process necessarily on game day. It's the process on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And knowing that, hey, it's Sunday morning. We just played a game. We're getting all together as a group without the coaches, and we're going to watch this film at 7:30 in the morning. We're going to go in and we're going to get our treatment. We're going to get ahead of schedule. We're going to hydrate our bodies, make sure we're up to our body weight, and then progress through the week and know that, hey, on Tuesday, it's going to be short yards and goal line. So we should have already watched that on Monday together as a group, and I'm talking without a coach in the room, and going through and getting those extra learning moments together, but watching film together, communicating together, and it helps us as coaches, right? Because, hey, they see certain things too, and you begin to value that, right? Because then you come up with a game plan that maybe, hey, this kid likes this play, so let's make sure we do it at a couple different formations.
Dylan Devaney was such a raw player when he came to Georgia Tech. He only played 1 year of high school football, then a year of prep school. How has he refined himself as a tight end now as a sophomore?
That's an interesting story because I was in Philadelphia and he was in New Jersey, and we were right across the bridge, so we knew who he was. And he only played 6 games of high school football, went out mid-season. He went out for the team mid-season. Then he went to the Hun School, and obviously that's a prep school. They do a fine job, but they're in basically 4 wideouts. So he was playing 4 wideouts. And as you see, as we've grown as an offense, now we're getting into bigger sets, and we're running counter and power and a variety of runs. And he has really done a fine job of, one, understanding football. And to be able to go into a meeting room and, they make – I don't know if I can say this, but we run the Budweiser hot seat in our meeting. So those guys are constantly on the board, and they're teaching – and they're expressing, and they're giving the offense to the other guys. And then there's that pressure of performing under pressure, but also knowing that, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. And that's going to help them in life, right? Because when they go interview all around Atlanta, and you look at these, they've been in front of their peers, and they've presented. So he's just done a wonderful job that way.
Great throwback Sports Center reference, by the way, with the Budweiser hot seat.
Love it.
Well done.
Love it.
I like the way you think. Chris Wiesahan is our guest tonight on GT60. Georgia Tech's tight ends coach will hit another timeout. You got a question for Coach Wies, make sure you drop it on Twitter with the hashtag GT60. No matter your favorite game day food, it'll pair perfectly with a Coke. Together, tastes better. Much more after this on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Sir, you're now being placed on arrest for driving under an influence.
What does that mean?
That means you've earned a night in the Gray Bar Motel. During your stay, you'll be photographed, fingerprinted, and given a stylish jumpsuit. And each room has an en-suite bathroom.
Is all this free?
Oh, no. Fines, court costs, and legal bills could add up to $10,000 or more.
Save your money for a real hotel. Drive sober, or we will pull you over.
This message brought to you by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Make your wallet buzzworthy with a Georgia Tech Visa debit card from Georgia United Credit Union. Now you can support Tech everywhere you go and spend. And every time you use your card, you'll be supporting Georgia Tech student athletes. Georgia United makes banking easy with advanced digital banking features. Check out Georgia United's checking account with no monthly service fee and ability to earn interest and show your Jacket pride. United, we fan. Visit gucu.org/GoJackets, insured by NCUA. Georgia United, the official debit card of Georgia Tech Athletics.
Back with more after this timeout. You're listening to GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
If you know college football history, then you know us. Heisman coached here. Megatron played here. 222 points in a game. They were scored here. And 4 national titles, they were won here. All on the same field where we still play today. When you come to the Flats of Atlanta, gold isn't just what you wear, it's who you are. We're more than an institute. We're a college football institution. Proud of our history, driven to make more. Welcome to where tradition meets innovation, where toe meets leather, where white meets gold. This is Georgia Tech football.
Talking Georgia Tech athletics in this week's edition of GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. To be a part of today's show, send your question on Twitter using hashtag GT60. Now let's rejoin the voice of the Jackets, Andy Demetra.
Hyatt Regency Atlanta has rambling rates all season. Visit HyattRegencyAtlanta.com and use offer code GTech. Hyatt Regency Atlanta, a preferred partner of Georgia Tech Athletics. Tech and Boston College Saturday afternoon in Chestnut Hill. Pregame 2 o'clock. Tomies Leather at 4 as Georgia Tech looks to surpass its conference win total from last season. Joined tonight in the second half hour by tight ends coach Chris Wiesehan. And above the line at tight end, in addition to the Dillons, we've also seen Jack Coco crack the above the line chart. This was the guy who transitioned from offensive line in the offseason, slimmed down considerably. What did he surprise you the most when he joined the tight ends group?
Well, I think he's an astute person, so I wasn't surprised necessarily in that short time we had together in spring ball. He quickly ascended as far as the knowledge portion of it. It just came to Jack wanted to play like, Coach, how do I get on the field? I said, well, I think the first way is through special teams. Obviously, you're a backup snapper. I said, but now you're going to be in the tight end room. You know, you need to be able to run. And you're a good athlete, you have good movement patterns, but you're too heavy. And, where's that sweet spot for weight? Well, I think if you're under 240, you're going to cover on the snaps and be downfield really fast, and that's a benefit. And then if you can do that, you can probably do kickoff return. And those things kind of grew and just kept growing. And then he came back and really had committed during the COVID situation and done everything right? Like he did his diet. He worked, he ran, he did every workout, and he'd send videos, and it was awesome to the group. It was pretty funny to watch something. And then he'd do triple indies into his pool. So it was awesome.
Didn't he do, some workouts with his dog, on his, he was doing, wall sits with his, 100-pound dog on him?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
That was actually the videos I was
Okay, I heard a rumor about that.
Yeah.
I figured you could confirm.
Yeah.
Can you give us a window into what the UCF week was like for you when you found out Dylan Leonard, Dylan Devaney weren't going to be available, and as a result, Jack Coco and your freshman Billy Ward became above the line? I imagine it could have gone one of two ways. Either it could have been a very hectic week for you, or it could have been very business as usual, next man up, and, all of our goals and all of our preparation remains the same.
It was that. I mean, I have to be truthful. It's just the way we try to run our room. Those guys know every pattern. They know what the Z does. They know what the F does. They know what the X does. They can go into the room and they can block power versus a 4 down versus a 3 down. They know what the guards' calls are, and that's kind of the way we train our room. So there wasn't a lot of angst, I have to be truthful with you. I had great confidence in Jack, and Billy really played well. We were excited about Billy getting in there.
Do your players know about your NCAA record?
I don't know about my NCAA record.
What
record's
you
that?
know about your NCAA record. It's in the media
Glory
guide.
days.
It's in the media guide right
They'll
next to the
pass you
pronunciation
by,
of your name,
glory
which clearly
days.
I overlooked. You still have the NCAA Division III record for yards per touch in a career at Wabash College.
Do you know why it's Division III? Because they don't have Division IV. That's why I have the record.
A record's a record.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So obviously you don't go around with a bullhorn around the offices and advertise this to your players, and I'm guessing also your players haven't brought this up.
Oh, no, they brought it up. They've read the bio. Yeah, they bring it up. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm sure they give you some good-natured ribbing about that.
From time to time, like when Dylan Leonard, I'm trying to explain to him a release package as a wide receiver, and he immediately tries to correct me. I said, okay, hang on. I get it. You've played zero wide out, but now you're going to correct me. I get it. But no, we have fun with it.
That's good. Hey, it's good to know that they've done their homework on their position coach. Chris Wiezand is our guest here on GT60. We'll hit another timeout. Much more to come on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Today tastes like game day at home. Like assigned couch seating. Tastes like coffee table dining. And an ice-cold Coke to cool down the heat. It tastes like the game you've waited for all week with friends you've known your whole life. Today tastes like watching football is supposed to. And it never tasted this good. Coca-Cola. Together tastes better.
Even before the victory celebration is over, great teams are back at it the next day, working to get even better. The team at Ford understands how hard work and dedication pay off. Over the last 30 years, Ford Explorer has been America's best-selling SUV. In fact, all Ford SUVs, like Explorer, Escape, and Edge, are built for victory. Score a great offer today at your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Based on total cumulative OEM reported U.S. sales for all SUVs from calendar year 1990 through calendar year 2019.
GT60 will be right back after these local messages on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Football season is here and the fall months are approaching, but it's still warm, which means pests like ants, roaches, and mosquitoes are still out in force. Luckily, you can trust the pros at Arrow Exterminators to keep your home, business, and tailgate pest-free. Atlanta-based Arrow Exterminators is trusted to keep a pest-free zone at the Yellow Jackets home, so rest assured that with Arrow's pest and termite control, you're getting the best from the best. Schedule a free home evaluation today. Call 888-GO-ARROW or visit arrowexterminators.com.
Follow the Yellow Jackets with Everyday Champions, the official magazine of Georgia Tech Sports. Each issue contains exclusive stories and photos, plus the latest news from inside Tech athletics. It's all that's positive about the Jackets. Subscribe now for only $9.95 per year. Call 1-888-877-4373, extension 3799 to sign up for Everyday Champions. That's 1-888-877-4373, extension 3799.
With GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, talking all things Yellow Jacket athletics. To be a part of today's show, send your question on Twitter using hashtag GT60. Now let's rejoin the voice of the Jackets, Andy Demetra.
Chris Wiezand, Georgia Tech tight ends coach, our guest here in the back hour of GT60 as we get you ready for Georgia Tech and Boston College this Saturday at 4 p.m. We saw a lot of impressive displays of speed both last year and this year. I still maintain the most impressive display of speed I've witnessed in the last year and a half was you rattling off all 13 places where you've coached in your career in like under 20 seconds.
It's because I still have all the stickers on my furniture, so I know where I was.
There you go.
Yeah, I just don't take the stickers off now.
It's the coaching passport, if you will. And that includes a stop in the reigning, I might add, Grey Cup champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You don't see a lot of college coaches have experience coaching in the CFL. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, we loved it. It's a fast-paced game. Mm-hmm. It's very dynamic. A lot of moving parts. And then to be truthful, the people were unbelievable. I mean, it was, obviously I've been in the NFL too, but the way they embraced my family was unreal. My son was born there, And he was actually born on the Banjo Bowl weekend, which is Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. It's a huge rivalry. My wife gave birth, and I was driving to the airport to go to the game, and I go, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I stopped and went back, and I went back to the hospital, missed a game, which coaches don't usually do that, but the outpouring was awesome. So he's the Banjo Bowl baby. It was pretty cool.
Is he a dual citizen as a result?
He is a dual citizen.
Wow.
I tried to get him in the French Foreign Legion and get him out of my house, but that hasn't worked out yet.
That's okay. You still got some time.
I'm working on it.
Did you have any trepidation about going to the CFL because it's a different type of game and it's maybe not on the consciousness of football fans in the same way coaching in the college ranks would be?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of consciousness. I've coached every position, so I'm not going to flinch, right? I'm going to go coach football, and if you tell me to go coach the kicker, I'll coach the kicker. You want me to coach the left tackle? I'll coach the left tackle. You want me to coach the running back? Let's go do that. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great game. It's pro football. I like dealing with the pros. I got to coach Terrence Edwards. What a phenomenal pro he is and a good human he is, and now a lifelong friend from here in Georgia.
When you said it's a faster-paced game, a more dynamic game, did you pick up on some things in your experience over there that's kind of helped you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So the nature of spread offenses and the RPO game that are so prevalent now, the CFL was way ahead. And the rules, like the lineman can be downfield, right? So you can run the zone read. He can be 5 yards down the field and you still throw the ball. So a lot of those concepts, they just have an extra guy in the field, and the field's a little wider. But all those, the offenses are similar. And when I say dynamic, what I mean by that is the motions, right? Because everybody can be in motion. We have an X and a Z, but they can go laterally. Everybody else at any time can go vertically. So that enhances the speed of the game. It really does.
How is summer on the Manitoba Prairie? I've never asked that before out
Summer
loud.
is great. I've never been there for a winter, if you can believe that.
Really?
I've never been there for a winter, no.
Where was the off-season home?
L.A., and then when we went to the Grey Cup, I went to Hawaii. Got the Hawaii job, so I went from Winnipeg to Hawaii.
Many people say
that will help your marriage.
Many people say that Honolulu is the Winnipeg of Hawaii. So, I think there was some seamless transitioning there. You said you've coached basically every offensive position except quarterback. Except quarterback.
Yep.
What makes coaching tight end so enjoyable?
Well, I think the thing about that position is they have to know the entire offense, right? Because they're so cued into the run game, and then they have to know the concepts in the passing game, and then they have to know protection. So they really have to see the game as a quarterback would. Does that make sense? And so they have to see the big picture and where they fit. And a lot of time, because Coach Padnode is so creative, we move our tight ends around. So you'll see the tight end at field 1. Next play, he'll be moved into the boundary 2, and then he'll end up at field 3 and maybe have to block a counter play. So he's going to have to, as he's on the fly moving over, have recognition of what that structure is, how the safeties are rotating, depending on how he may fit on a play. So I enjoy that part of it.
Bill Belichick earlier this week was very effusive in his praise of George Kittle, the San Francisco tight end. He says he's one of the best tight ends he's ever coached against. If you told your guys, I want you to study one tight end.
We already did.
Tyler Davis.
We studied Kittle in COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
That's okay.
Can we change this to my show?
We really
it ain't
should.
easy being wheezy, and it's whatever time.
Well, you already came with the title in hand. I like that you have some forethought into this.
I'm ready to go.
What makes him such a guy worthy of that praise, worthy of the film study that you did with your tight ends this summer?
You're referencing Kittles.
Yes.
I mean, he's a violent player. 2, with the ball in his hands, he's explosive and he breaks tackles. You can throw him a screen. He's going to get positive yardage. And then he's in what Kyle does in the run game. Coach Shanahan, I work with him. Kyle, what he does in the run game, he fits at the point. He can divide the defense on, nail the nose, wham the nose. He can do so many things that you never have to take him out. You know what I mean? He's always going to be on the field in all their packages because of how diverse he can play.
Very nice. And he was undersized when he came to Iowa.
Yeah, he was. And they've done a good job, and we're going to build our room the same way. I mean, they've done a nice job of building that room with tight ends, and they're starting a lineage, and that's what we want to do here at Georgia Tech. We want that room to be a strong room for a long, long time with a lot of pride. And when guys come back and like, hey, we started this.
Awesome. Well, already showing that strength, and looking forward to seeing your tight ends this Saturday take the field as Georgia Tech takes on Boston College. We'll take one final timeout, give you a Coca-Cola ACC refresher, and then wrap up this edition of GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
You can do all your banking from the comfort of your home. With SunTrust Advantage Checking, you can get everything you need through our innovative mobile app. Set up balance alerts, transfer money, make deposits, pay bills, or send and receive money with Zelle. Because we believe, now more than ever, banking should be secure and convenient. Go to suntrust.com/advantage to open an account today. Terms and conditions apply. SunTrust, now Truist. Member FDIC.
It's back. The return of the prestigious Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, honoring college sports excellence across all competitive divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow along with L Directors Cup on Twitter or online to see which schools will be taking home a first place trophy in June for their season-long success. Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, a premier institutional award jointly launched in 1993 by USA Today and NACDA.
Back with more after this timeout. You're listening to GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Atlanta, home of clout, home of culture, home of Georgia Tech. But it's not enough to represent a city. You have to reflect it. And our story is Atlanta's story. A place that influences and innovates. A place that doesn't wait for change, it creates it. A place of relentless drive and undeniable swagger. With a storied past and unstoppable future. That's Atlanta. That's Georgia Tech. So let others wish they were here or pretend they're from here. We are here. And when you take this celebrated program in this world-class city, you get an electricity unlike anything in college football. Welcome to Atlanta, and what's the good word? This is Georgia Tech football.
This is GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield. Broke around the ACC, let's rejoin Andy Demetra for this week's ACC Refresher, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Together, tastes better.
Alongside our game on Saturday, Florida State travels to Louisville, NC State versus North Carolina. Syracuse takes its crack at Clemson. Virginia Tech is at Wake Forest. Notre Dame travels to Pittsburgh, and Virginia is at Miami. Football season is here. That means it's time to load up on the best snacks and some delicious ice-cold Coke for all your game day guests. Nothing tastes like everyone you love and everything you like coming together. Coca-Cola, together tastes better. Winding down this edition of GT60, Georgia Tech versus Boston College. We invite you to tune in pregame at 2, Tomey's Leather at 4 Saturday here on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. As we finish things up with tight ends coach Chris Wiesehan, the one guy who's been above the line that I don't think we've mentioned yet this second half hour, or at least talked about at length, is Billy Ward, your freshman. Give us what makes you excited about his upside.
Well, I think he's got great body balance. He's 260 pounds. He's a really fluid, natural athlete. He's one of those kids that played a lot of different sports, and it shows up on tape. And he is really ascending. He's on KOR. He's on field goal now. He's gotten active reps and meaningful reps in games, and we just continue to build and grow with that. The guys are downstairs meeting with him extra, and that's the Dillons and taking care of that room. So it's a really cool process.
Just the culture of leadership and accountability within that room, you can tell it took root, seems very quickly in your room since when you got here.
Right. So that's kind of the messaging, right? And then you disperse that message to certain guys like, hey, we should probably be doing this. And then a guy like Tyler Davis and Tyler Cooksey, who is now they're doing unbelievable things in life, right? One's in the NFL, one's right here doing corporate real estate or commercial real estate, and they really set the tone.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah,
I
I've
always
enjoyed
appreciate it. You know, a little bit of a shaky start. We got the pronunciation smoothed out.
Yeah, I still don't know your name, but it's cool.
That's okay. Not many people do. I'm better heard than seen.
I'll take your autograph, though.
I appreciate that. It is not worth the scrap of paper it will be written upon.
Come on, Andy.
Tight ends coach Chris Wiesehan, our guest here, and of course Jeff Collins as well on GT60. As long as we got you here before the fight song plays, you will be a successful Saturday of offense for the Yellow Jackets versus BC.
Well, they're a physical group. We're going to come out and establish a run. We're going to run the ball downhill, and then we got a dynamic quarterback, and we're going to give him a chance to spin the ball. Get it to our playmakers. We got a Marion, we have all those Malachi, we have all those guys that are dudes, and we're going to get them the ball.
Can't wait for it, Coach. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, once again, for Chris Wiesehan, Jeff Collins, our network engineer, Miller Pope, I'm Andy Demetra saying so long, and thanks for listening to GT60.
You've been listening to GT60 on the Georgia Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Tune in every Wednesday at 7 for the latest on the Jackets.